Hello, my name is Kylie, and welcome to Ancient History, the Ancient Mesopotamians Part 2. In this video, we will examine some key points about their fascinating culture, including their religion, art, and daily life. Don't forget to watch the first part of this series, Ancient History, the Ancient Mesopotamians Part 1. Okay, are you ready to learn about this exciting ancient culture? Let's get ready to explore these people from the past. Mesopotamia existed from the beginning of written history in circa 3100 BC to the fall of Babylon in 539 BC. In part 1 of this series, we learned many important facts about these people, including the importance of a large structure called a ziggurat. Ziggurats were built of mostly mud and bricks. Ziggurats were built in the shapes of a stepped pyramid and had many layers. They were much larger than other buildings in their cities and could be seen from miles and miles away. The ancient Sumerians, who lived in this area, built many ziggurats. On the very top of each ziggurat stood a temple or shrine built to honor that city's special god. It was common for ancient people to believe in multiple gods. This is called polytheism. Poly means many, and theism means gods. The ancient Mesopotamians believed if they pleased their gods, their crops would be successful. They also believed that floods, droughts, and other natural disasters were a sign that the gods were angry. Over time, the ziggurats became much more than temples or shrines to the gods. Smaller buildings were built to surround each ziggurat, and the entire area became the center of the city. Craftspeople, like carpenters, weavers, and others, had small workshops there. People gathered to discuss the government, make deals or trades, and discuss art. Merchants traded products they obtained from traveling to other nearby cities. As time went on, trade routes expanded and products such as wheat, wood, salt, dates, copper, dishes, and tools were traded. Traders traveled as far away as the Mediterranean Sea. Because the ziggurat in each city became such an important place for so many different activities, architects of the time made each one as special as possible with large mud sculptures, carvings, and grand entrances. Archaeologists think many have been painted a beautiful indigo blue. Art was a very important part of Mesopotamian life. Their artwork rivaled that of the ancient Egyptians. They were especially known for their finely carved stone. One of their favorite and readily available stones to carve was alabaster. Alabaster vases have been focused and found by archaeologists from different dig sites in the region where the Mesopotamians lived. They also made both everyday items and art objects from copper. Animals were a favorite subject, as they felt the more beautiful an animal sculpture was, the happier the gods would be. They hoped then that the gods would reward them with healthy animals in return. As Mesopotamian artists grew more skilled, they began to combine materials like gold, lapis lazuli, which is a beautiful blue stone with little gold flakes in it, wood, and stone. One famous example of this is a statue called the Ram in the Thicket. It is made up of gold, copper, shell, limestone, and lapis lazuli. This amazing artifact is now on display in the British Museum in London, England. The upper classes, or people who had money or goods to trade, loved to show off their status using jewelry. Women wore beautiful hairpins made of gold. Men wore pins and decorated knives and other tools made with gold and precious stones. As the population and cultures of ancient Mesopotamia grew, medicine and literature became important and popular areas of study. Babylonians, who were part of the Mesopotamian civilization, were very interested in studying the human body and being healthy. An early text from the time, called Diagnostic Handbook, was written by a chief scholar. During this time, historians believe the ancient Mesopotamians also began the practice of prescribing pills, creams, and medicinal drinks. They used forms of physical therapy to help heal injuries and wrote detailed descriptions of the observations they made while people healed. They wrote charts with symptoms, what they thought the symptoms meant, and suggested ways to treat the illnesses. This is very much like the medicine practiced by doctors today. To think people took pills from doctors 4,000 years ago! Math and science were also very important. The ancient Mesopotamians invented and used a mathematical number system called sexagesimal, based on the number 60. If they needed numbers larger than 60, they used a combination of the symbols to create them similar to place value today. We actually still use this system today. Can you think of where? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with our arms. Well, at least some of the time. Time! That's it! We break time into parts using the number 60. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. We also use the number 60 when measuring and using angles in geometry. Not bad for a system created several thousand years ago. Some households and the rich valued music. Songs and dances were frequent forms of entertainment in the home. The oud was a string instrument they played. Daily life for the Mesopotamians was different depending upon the class to which you belonged. Poor people had very hard lives. They worked or toiled from sunrise to sunset. Throughout most of their history, Mesopotamians lived in a patriarchal society. This meant men usually had most of the power and money and status. These were passed down through a family's male relatives, and this was very different from the very early times of their history when it is thought that the men and women ruled equally. The sons of upper-class parents went to school and studied to become scribes or writers or doctors or government officials. Girls tended to stay home with their mothers to learn how to take care of a household. They learned how to cook, take care of younger children, do housekeeping, and sewing of clothing. Even though their society was focused on men having most of the rights, women still had the right to own property and even to get divorced if their husbands were cruel to them. This was very unusual for the time period. I hope you enjoyed learning about ancient Mesopotamian culture. How many aspects of their culture can you match up to how we live today? Remember to practice what you've learned using our fun online games and quizzes. Until our next adventure learning about the past, remember to always be clever.
Hey, hey.